The power of perspective. This is one of my favorite powers, okay? Just look at this picture. Is it a vase or a vase, as they would say in America? Or is it two faces looking at one another? Depending on how we look at it, it could be either. It's either and both. The things around us, the meaning in the things around us are not always what we suppose them to be. Here's from the great wisdom of Calvin and Hobbes, my favorite comic strip. If people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I'll bet they'd live a lot differently. How so? Well, when you look into infinity, you realize that there are more important things than what people do all day. Nothing like a universe, a glimpse of the universe to give us some perspective on our own lives, that's for sure. And one of the things we'll be looking at in this course is the experiences of astronauts and how their view of the world from space or the universe in space has profoundly affected their worldview and their lives. Perspective can often be chosen. We can choose, they're in the same train, they can choose to look on the bright side or the dark side, and life is full of examples of that. There are variations in our lives. That life varies with time, place, and person. So I have a kind of quiz show I'm going to run you through as part of this program, where this is where the variable is time. When you're 4 years old, you know more about dinosaurs than at any other point in your life, more than when you've got a degree in paleontology, and slightly more than when your own child is 4 years old and they tell you all about dinosaurs. I love this one. I know a kid exactly like this. Time, place, or person. Okay, so that was a time thing. This is a place, I guess. So is it possible there's life on other cells? No, no way, you're crazy. Okay, so perspective. There are, life is full of kind of illusory things that, they look different depending on how we look at them, where we look at them from, when we look at them, and who is the one looking. And this is a very strange one, which I still can't figure out. This little clever toy, fascinating. Take a look at that and let it mess with your head. One of the most important applications of this idea of perspective is in meditation itself. There's a beautiful exercise called The Secret of Meditation, which we'll go through in this program. And I will, the snapshot is like this. It's about, here's this grumpy, sad man, but there's a rain of love coming down on us. And his, as it says in one scripture, the umbrella-shaped ego is preventing him from feeling it. So we're going to learn how to lower that ego umbrella and feel the rain of love. So that's one of the highlights of this whole program, in my opinion. And Rabindranath Tagore, the great poet of India, said that the universe is a floating lotus on the ocean of night. And he didn't need to go into space to realize that. He went into inner space. And the way that we see the world can have huge impact. Are national borders real? Think of all the harm that nationalism has done, all the wars, all the suffering. But really, they're imaginary, there's something made up. What the world really is something, there's a oneness. And this is actually one of the great realizations of many of the astronauts when they actually saw it like that for the first time. They sort of struck them, oh my God, this is so beautiful, but also we've made all these artificial divisions, and it really changed their way of speaking. Edgar Mitchell has some great things to say about this. We'll be learning a bit from him. Oh, here it is, right here. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of the neck and drag him 250,000 miles out and say, look at that, you son of a bitch. Edgar Mitchell, who managed to get a monk to swear in public. He was on the Apollo 14 flight, and he went on to do many great things with his life, which I'll tell you about. What you'll learn about using perspective to transform your world. Self-awareness, greater self-honesty, to be able to look at yourself in a new way. Understanding others' point of view, to see things as others see them, from their perspective. Seeing opportunities within apparent misfortune. So perhaps your life isn't as miserable as you imagine it to be, or I hope you don't imagine that. Sensing a greater purpose in the world, from a kind of cosmic perspective. There's something going on here that maybe we don't always notice. And the secret of meditation, as I promised you. As I said, this is, for me, perhaps the highlight of the course.